Welcome to Home of Undiluted Message. J. Lom's TV.
Ah, Sam. Good to see you. What brings you here today?
Hi, Mr. Alex. I've been reading about Jesus Christ, and I have so many questions. Can you tell me about his birth?
Of course, Sam. Imagine yourself in ancient Judea, a land under Roman rule. It's a time of great expectation among the Jewish people.
Expectation? What were they expecting?
Come with me. The Jewish people awaited the Messiah, a Savior prophesied to free them from oppression and bring peace. Now, in Bethlehem, a small town known for King David's lineage, something extraordinary unfolds.
You mean Jesus' birth?
Precisely. This occurred in Judea during the time of Herod the Great.
Herod the Great? Wasn't he the one who built the great temple in Jerusalem?
Indeed, young scholar. Herod was not only a formidable ruler under the Roman Empire, but also a visionary architect. He transformed Judea with magnificent structures, including fortresses, palaces, and indeed, the temple itself. His reign was marked by grandeur and controversy.
I also heard he wasn't so nice. Like, he did some pretty harsh things to keep control.
You're right. Herod's methods were controversial, to say the least. His reign was marked by both progress and conflict. He was ruthless in maintaining order and eliminating threats to his rule. History often paints complex portraits. Herod was undoubtedly ambitious, overseeing colossal building projects that transformed our cities. However, his methods of governance were indeed forceful at times.
Like when he ordered. What was it?
The execution of his own family members? Yes, indeed, that's one of the darker chapters. Herod's fear of losing power led to tragic outcomes, even within his own family circle.
So, Mr. Alex, how was the cultural and religious practices of the Jewish people during this time?
Their lives were deeply rooted in traditions outlined in the Torah, the central reference of their religious laws and practices.
What kind of practices did they follow?
Many. One of the most important practices was circumcision, a sign of the covenant between God and Abraham's descendants. They also celebrated numerous religious festivals, such as Passover, commemorating the Israelites' exodus from Egypt, and Sukkot, celebrating the harvest and the Israelites' time in the wilderness.
What about their places of worship? Did they have temples everywhere?
Not temples everywhere, but synagogues. While the temple in Jerusalem was the central place of worship, synagogues served as local centers for prayer, study, and community gatherings. They were integral to Jewish religious life, especially for those living far from Jerusalem.
So, people would gather in synagogues to read and study the scriptures?
Yes, indeed. Synagogues were not just places of worship, but also hubs of learning and discussion. The Torah was read and interpreted, and people would engage in prayer and community matters.
How did these practices influence daily life?
Their daily life was deeply intertwined with religious observance. The Torah provided guidelines for everything from dietary laws to ethical conduct. Festivals punctuated the year with periods of reflection, gratitude, and communal joy. These practices fostered a strong sense of identity and continuity among the Jewish people.
What was life like in Judea back then?
Judea was a vibrant mix of Roman influence and Jewish traditions. From the markets of Jerusalem to the quiet hills of Nazareth, every corner held stories of resilience, faith, and struggle.
I heard that many Jews back then were waiting for someone called the Messiah. Can you tell me more about that?
The Messiah expectation. Many Jews of that era were indeed anticipating the arrival of the Messiah. A figure prophesied in Jewish scriptures who would deliver them from oppression and establish a kingdom of peace and justice.
So, they believed the Messiah would save them from the Romans?
Yes, many hoped the Messiah would be a powerful leader who would overthrow Roman rule and restore Jewish independence. It was a time of great hope and expectation, intertwined with the struggles of daily life under foreign rule.
That must have been a lot of pressure and hope riding on one person.
Indeed. The Messiah expectation brought both hope and tension. It influenced how people lived, their faith, and their actions during those turbulent times.
Can we learn more about what the scriptures said about the Messiah?
Absolutely. Let's begin with the city called Bethlehem, where it all started. This small town in Judea holds profound significance. It is the birthplace of King David, a great ancestor of Jesus. This lineage adds depth to the story of Jesus' birth.
So, Bethlehem was important because of King David?
Exactly. The town was prophesied to be the birthplace of the Messiah. The book of Micah, written centuries before, foretold in Micah chapter 5 verse 2. But you, Bethlehem Ephrathah, though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come for me one who will be ruler over Israel, whose origins are from of old, from ancient times.
That's amazing. So, Jesus' birth in Bethlehem was fulfilling a prophecy?
Yes, Sam. According to the Gospel accounts in Matthew chapter 2 verse 1 and Luke chapter 2 verses 4, 5, 6 and 7. Jesus was born in Bethlehem, just as the prophecy had foretold. It was a moment that resonated deeply with the Jewish people, fulfilling their long-held expectations.
I remember learning about how Mary and Joseph traveled to Bethlehem. It must have been tough for them. What do you know about their backgrounds?
Mary was known for her deep faith and humility. She was chosen by God to bear his son, a role that brought immense responsibility and honor. Mary was a young Jewish woman from Nazareth, betrothed to Joseph, a carpenter. Joseph, on the other hand, was of the lineage of King David. This royal lineage played a crucial role in fulfilling the prophecy of the Messiah's birth in Bethlehem. Yes. Mary, a young woman from Nazareth, and Joseph, a descendant of David, had to travel to Bethlehem because of a decree by Caesar Augustus. Everyone had to register in their hometown for the census.
How far did they travel?
About 70 miles. Indeed, the journey was arduous. Through hills and valleys, all the way to Bethlehem. Nazareth, where Mary and Joseph lived, is in the northern part of Judea. They would have journeyed southward, crossing through rugged landscapes and small villages along the way.
It must have been hard for Mary, traveling such a long distance while pregnant.
Absolutely, Sam. The journey would have taken several days, maybe even longer depending on the conditions. Traveling through hills and valleys, especially for someone expecting a child, would have been physically demanding and emotionally taxing.
Did they travel alone?
It's likely they were parts of a larger group of travelers heading to Bethlehem for the census. The roads would have been bustling with people returning to their ancestral homes, all complying with the Roman decree.
What was Bethlehem like when they arrived?
Bethlehem was a bustling town, filled with people from various places. The influx of travelers would have made finding accommodations challenging, as we know from the story, ultimately leading to Mary and Joseph finding shelter in a stable or a cave used as a makeshift lodging. Tradition holds that Mary gave birth to Jesus there and laid him in a manger, a feeding trough for animals. It was a humble beginning for the Messiah.
And what happened next?
According to the Gospels, that night, out in the fields near Bethlehem, an angel appeared to shepherds, announcing the birth of Jesus. They were terrified at first, but the angel reassured them, saying, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people."
That must have been amazing for them.
Indeed, it was a moment of great significance, marking the birth of the Savior foretold by prophets centuries before.
What did they do?
They hurried to Bethlehem and found Mary, Joseph, and the baby lying in the manger, just as the angel had said. They spread the word about what they had seen and heard, marveling at the fulfillment of ancient prophecies.
Who were these shepherds?
The shepherds were ordinary people, yet they were chosen to witness this extraordinary event. Their faith and obedience led them to discover the Messiah, born in the humblest of circumstances.
Why did the angel appear to shepherds?
Shepherds were considered humble and faithful in Jewish tradition. The angel's announcement to them underscored that Jesus came not just for the powerful and wealthy, but for all people, bringing hope and salvation to the world.
What was it like for the shepherds who visited Jesus? They seemed so surprised to hear the good news.
The shepherds were indeed astonished. The shepherds, filled with wonder and joy, went to see the newborn Jesus, spreading the news far and wide.
It must have been such a powerful moment, bringing hope and fulfillment to the people.
Yes, Sam. The birth of Jesus was a culmination of centuries of prophecy and divine planning. It was a moment of hope and joy that continues to inspire faith and wonder in people around the world. After the shepherds, another extraordinary event occurred. Wise men from the east, known as the Magi, followed a star that led them to Bethlehem.
Why did they come?
They came to honor the newborn King of the Jews. According to Matthew's Gospel, they brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, symbolic of Jesus' royal status, divinity, and future sacrifice.
That's incredible. The three wise men.
That is not absolutely correct. The Bible has not mentioned their numbers. They were called wise men from the east.
Oh, I see. Did anything else happen after that?
Yes, shortly after the Magi's visit, an angel warned Joseph in a dream about Herod's plan to harm Jesus. To protect him, Joseph took Mary and Jesus to Egypt, where they stayed until Herod's death.
And then they returned to Nazareth.
Exactly. After Herod's death, Joseph, Mary, and Jesus settled in Nazareth. This journey, from Bethlehem to Egypt and back, was crucial in fulfilling prophecies and ensuring Jesus' safety.
It's amazing how all these events fit together, isn't it?
So, Sam, this is the story of Jesus' birth. A humble beginning for someone who would change the world.
It's amazing how everything happened just as it was foretold. I want to learn more about Jesus and what he did. There's much more to discover, my young friend. His life, teachings, and legacy have touched countless lives throughout history.
The birth of Jesus wasn't just a historical event. It was a divine promise fulfilled. It reminds us that God's plans unfold in ways we may not always expect but are always filled with purpose and meaning.
What can we learn from Jesus' life?
Jesus' life was a testament to love, compassion, and faith. He taught us to love one another, to seek justice, and to find strength in God's grace. His teachings continue to inspire and guide people of all walks of life.
I want to learn more about his teachings and how they can shape our lives today.
That's a wonderful goal, Sam. There's a wealth of wisdom waiting to be discovered in the teachings of Jesus. Sam, it's been a joy sharing this journey through history with you.
Thank you, Mr. Alex. I've learned so much about Jesus' birth and what it means for us.
You've been a great student, Sam. Your curiosity and eagerness to learn are truly inspiring.
I can't wait to learn more about Jesus and how his teachings can guide us today.
Keep exploring, Sam. There's always more to discover, and I'm sure you'll find wisdom and inspiration in his words. Remember, Sam, the story of Jesus' birth is just the beginning of a journey filled with miracles and lessons for us all.
I will, Mr. Alex. Thank you for guiding me through it.
Farewell, Sam. May your journey be filled with wisdom and faith. My driver will take you home.
Thank you for everything. I appreciate. Farewell, Mr. Alex. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates. You can reach us through email at jlomstv86@gmail.com. See you in our next